And we are officially live. Hello to all my BC WrestlePod nerds out there, and welcome to another rendition of the Takedown Droop, your weekly TNA review show here at the BC WrestlePod Network. I am El Jefe of BC WrestlePod, Mikey, and I am here with two of my lovely co-hosts to lead us through the turbulent times of TNA. Oh my goodness, listen, regardless of how I personally feel about TNA half the time within the last, month or two, I always get to enjoy my Fridays with my lovely co-hosts here. Of course, first I got to introduce them before we get into anything. First and foremost, sandwiched between myself and the radio wheel is JT, who found the time to watch the episode and has thoughts as well.
Those don't come often hand in hand. Sometimes it's I watch the show, but I don't have thoughts. And sometimes I have the show and
no thoughts, just wrestle.
There's just show or just thoughts. Today I have both.
Yes, and we love that. Yes, a 2-for-1 special. And of course, rounding out our trio tonight is Radio Free Will, who also has thoughts, and I'm excited.
The only man more negative about TNA than Jim Cornette.
I was like, ooh, no. So we're going to get into it tonight. Of course, we are missing Papa Oso, but that's because he is, I don't know, doing a job of some sort, being a director of theater. How dare he? No, I'm just kidding. No, he is holding his second round of auditions for the play he's directing. They're doing a rendition of Godspell. So I'm going to be talking to him later to figure out how all that went. But he will be back next Friday. But there's not a TNA review, and I'm going to tell you why at the end of the show. But before we get into, roasting this week's episode of TNA, man, there were some bright spots, but there was a lot of rough patches, and we can go get into that. Let's get through really quickly all of the pre-show stuff, which includes, however you found us, whether it was a friend, the algorithm, you just saw 3 random dudes who are like, who are these nerds talking about wrestling? We appreciate how you got here, and we hope you stay here. So if you would like to continue to watch us, you can subscribe to our YouTube, follow us on Twitch or Kick, whatever your preferred streaming / video watching platform is. But we also understand that watching full-length reviews may not be in your wheelhouse or in your capacity. But if you still want to interact with our lovely little community, then I highly suggest you follow us at BC WrestlePod on pretty much every social media site, where we cover, everything. We do report cards and previews for the weekly shows, the pay-per-views. We have our little predictions that we throw up for the big pay-per-views as well. It's just a whole bunch of fun. It is a lot of fun.
Mike, do you have a Patreon for this podcast yet?
We technically have a Patreon in the works. We also have a coffee in the works as well, if you want to, support us financially. And thank you for the unintentional segue into also, if you want to, support us financially, but also getting yourself something nice in the process. We have merchandise available. I revamped some of the designs over this past weekend. And we also just dropped our newest collection for the fall just in time. Get your pumpkin spice lattes out, everybody, because our pumpkin suplex latte collection is here. It is exactly what you think. It is our luchador character suplexing a pumpkin spice latte, which is fantastic. We're channeling our inner...
I still think you need to do a CM Pumpkin spice latte.
That is the only PSL that I ever need.
Yeah. But of course, everything that we do here at BC WrestlePod, we want to try to use our small little platform to do some good. So in this fall collection, which is available all the way up into November 30th, proceeds from this collection will be donated to No Kid Hungry, which is a charity organization that helps children not go hungry during the holiday seasons, but also during the school year as well. Because as somebody who grew up through that for a good part of their time, no child deserves to go hungry. So now that we got that out of the way, let's get this roast to cooking. So let's just jump into it.
Holiday of September.
Yes. So, okay, I'm going to be that person tonight. So I will admit, me personally, I had a lot more fun this episode than I have the last 2 weeks. God knows that I enjoyed this episode better than
the return of the true villain of TNA, the overhead cam shot.
That was so rough. But I also have questions, and I have, some complaints that we're going to get into. But let's just jump straight into it because we kick things off this week. So we get a recap of everything that went down last week. We open up with Matthew Raywald and Tom Hannafan, our lovely commentary duo for TNA. And we just get into this match where we get Moose versus AJ Francis. And we got this match because they had a interaction last week in the backstage segment, and that is how we got this. Of course, we have Ali coming out to be on commentary for some odd reason, so I'm like, okay, we'll see how this goes. Yeah.
So as someone, once again, I didn't hate this match. Like Moose was better than he normally is. Like I'm not a huge Moose fan, but like he was better in this match than he has been. And you know me, I like AJ Francis a lot. He didn't do anything outstanding in this particular match, but I like the character work that he does. You know, he saves his highest of high spots for the pay-per-views, which I can respect. You know, it's like he doesn't need to go guns blazing 100% of the time, because guys that size generally can't, and it's not a good idea for them to go guns blazing 1,000,000% of the time. Honestly, I felt like this was a weird place to put this match on the card. Why would this be the opener? Like, you want to present both of these guys as credible threats, as credible. Like, one of them is literally nicknamed the face of the franchise. Why would you put them on the opener? Put them further down the card. Like,
this should have been the main event compared to what the main event was.
For reals. I was like, you know what? This would have been a really good way to end the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Even if they did, like, and honestly, that would have made Ali showing up more impactful. Because as an opener, this is like, okay, yep, they come out and then Ali's music hits and he comes down. It's like, okay, that's kind of weird. Then we get him on commentary. If you've had an entire show of like, okay, we've got this plot point, and then you're sitting going like, we haven't heard from Order 4 this episode. That's kind of weird. And then, you know, they get in there, bell rings, and then Ali's music hits are like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Why is Ali coming down to the ring? What's going on here? And like, yeah, it just not a bad match. Not a great match by any stretch of the imagination, but not bad. Just weird as an opener.
Yeah, I mean, again, yeah, like you pretty much summed it up really well. I would have liked to see this at the main event and closing the show than what we got, which we'll get into. Yeah. JT, before I, get your thoughts on all this, I got to bring in a comment from a friend to the channel, Nick. Moose haven't been relevant since I used it on my hair 10 years ago. Shout out to you, Nick. Love y'all. Thank you for popping in. But yeah, JT. So we've kind of been in this weird position with Moose and the system. They kind of been, for all intents and purposes, treading water, so to speak. Like they're still involved, but they're not really going anywhere. And I also feel that this match doesn't help that case. Right. But what did you think of the match?
I actually really liked it. Like you guys were saying, it would have been awesome had it been further down the line. Just surely because the end of that match was so like cliffhanger. Like, you definitely know that they're trying to start some stuff now. So by the time that Bound for Glory kicks in, it's going to be like a little more publicized, if you will. That and Moose, that was like, those were the two huge things for me. Like,
I will say on this, I do, at the risk of damning with faint praise, this was probably the most effective way to get this to push the system closer to a babyface faction. Because AJ Francis is the closest thing, like, excuse me, no, not the closest thing, but AJ Francis is right up there with people like Mustafa Ali and Frankie Kazarian as the closest thing that TNA has to a full, top-notch, homegrown heel. Like, AJ Francis, I mean, he's clearly like, he's sort of like the mastermind behind First Class. Like, they could have put him, if they put it this way, if this was Moose versus Rich Swann, yeah, it definitely worked as no, would have been the same like opener kind of thing. But making it AJ Francis, that makes it feel more impactful as AJ Francis, to me anyway. With the exception of Trick Williams, AJ Francis feels like the biggest heel in the company, to me anyway. You could make an argument for Frankie, but and on that note, like, because they are like, I can see them trying to turn the system a face, but it's just that nothing is really sold for it. This feels like the first thing that has been, they're trying to make system a credible babyface faction.
And it's going to be really interesting too, because with Ali kind of helping AJ Francis in this battle, like in this bout, it's kind of like, okay, so what's going on? Like, Ali comes out in like his truest of true commander-in-chief of TNA. But like we've seen him wrestle and we've seen him like was sharp. It was like a campaign run. And all of a sudden, like you see him helping AJ Francis. But there wasn't anything after the match. And so it's like, what are you guys, what's going on? I want to see how this is going to pan out.
I think what they might be doing is trying to start like an entire like faction fight, because that way they'll have the system working as the baby faces, but we'll have two heel factions in First Class. And basically this example of First Class trying to work with Order 4 having that backfire makes sense. That we can the last thing they want to do is take two heel factions, just kind of like mash them together.
Yeah, make them First Order.
Right. First Class or
Fourth Class. That sounds great.
Louise. Well, I mean, this is kind of leading into a lot. So again, like you both said, Ali comes in, especially you, JT. Ali comes in to try to help AJ Francis, but it backfires big time, which does allow Moose to capitalize and win. And yeah, this is a thing that is happening at Victory Road. Moose versus Ali. So this is
they gotta hurry up and finish their homework.
For real. So this is where I have the biggest problem, right? Well, I mean, I have lots of issues with TNA from time to time, but here's my biggest one. And it's not just TNA exclusive. This includes a little bit of AEW and all the other promotions too. I know that y'all are trying to get those social media views and everything, but when you have backstage promos and backstage vignettes that even in a microcosm of a level, if you will, help build the feud and the story a little bit, you should probably show those on television. Why is it that I'm getting these screenshots ready for, the slideshow here, and I'm watching Moose and Ali's backstage promos? I was like, where was this on my television screen? Like, what are you doing?
No, all we got was a stare down for like 30 seconds.
That was uncomfortable. I didn't like that. I needed an adult. But this is one of 3 matches that officially gets made tonight for Victory Road, on top of the Ash versus Masha for the TNA Knockouts Championship, which also gets somebody added to it just cuz, which also makes me think, all right, it's going to be a triple threat, isn't it, at Bound for Glory? All right, we're going to get there when we get there. But
when is it not with the knockouts, though? Like, seriously, like that's how it's always been the last couple of months is, we're going to do a knockouts bout. Let's make it, 3 tag teams instead of, just 1 or 2.
I feel like Santino Marella went into Teddy Long's notebook to spice things up. Like, let's add more people into this. Yeah.
Threesomes are always the best. Yay.
Let's make this we're going to make this a tag team match. Play.
Holla, holla.
Again.
Oh, no. Yeah. This is, well, on paper, I'm like, this should be interesting. But again, we're going to finish and do our homework as we normally do with these, like, not the big 4 pay-per-views as we have seen so far. Let us move on, though, because the only time I am okay with hearing, do you want to know something? But again, this is a promo that the system cut to kind of hype them up of, Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards taking on the Nemeth in the main event. We're going to get there. We're going to put a pin in you boys later. We're trying.
So what are we trying?
Obviously, patience, because everything else is...
We're trying our patience. We're trying to give a shit. We're trying...
Good Lord Almighty.
Oh, God, look.
I knew where we were going, so I'm just going to put this image up, and I'm going to let everybody go. Just go. I'm going to watch.
Like I said, I spent my lunch break at work today watching the episode. Now, I only had my phone to watch it on. I damn near threw my phone halfway through this fucking bullshit. Like, oh God, like, remember, like, a few weeks ago, I said, like, I think I'm too old for the Rascals. This just cinched it. I am too old for this shit.
I'm not going to put people on blast here, right? Well, I mean, like, I'm not going to expose people's businesses right there, but just to let our audience know, there are 2 of us that are in, well, and correct me of my ignorance, but I was like, oh, what am I talking about? There are 2 of us that either, are in the states that are believe in the good of the ganj and we love it.
Oh, sure.
Or, and some of us may or may not partake it. I will neither confirm nor deny who that is. I'm going to be so for real. This felt like a really, and not to say, because this is also a hot take, This felt like a really bad version of the basement scenes
Exactly.
from that 70s shows.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, you had the laugh track. You had these guys acting a fool. I was just like, did actor write this? Like, what is happening right now? And then the cutaways to the random graphics, I was like, okay, I know I didn't take anything, but I feel like I'm on something watching this. But
No. The cutaway to the random graphics was very obvious what they were doing. It was like, do you remember that bit in like? And I haven't seen the new Naked Gun, but I know it happened in the original Naked Gun of like they're doing the sex scene and they smash cut to like a train going through a tunnel over and over again. It was like, oh yes. A fire was lit and smoke came up and the rocket ship is going high. Yeah, the baby's first analogy for the use of narcotics.
Thanks for painting that picture for us, TNA.
Yeah, it's like, wait. You mean the guys whose entrance music starts with the sounds of a bong rip are gonna smoke the weed?
like,
Them marijuana reefers are dangerous.
Did you ever see the back of a $20 bill? On weed.
Lord help us. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but to summarize my feelings on this whole stupid segment,
I'll say it. Weed has never been my thing. Like I've tried it a few times. It just does not. It's not my jam. I have no hate against anyone who does use it. More power to you. As long as you're not hurting anybody, knock yourself out.
party.
But I have been around entirely too many people like this. And it's just like, just get the fuck away from me.
I love the Rascals, but I hate this direction for them. I liked them better when we were throwing spray can paints at people and spraying people with spray paint, like when they were somewhat heels like a year ago. But I know this has always been the Rascals thing.
So basically when they were copying Tony Storm and homework from AEW?
I mean, sure.
Or I don't know, maybe Saraya and Tony were copying their homework. I don't know.
But like originality is a thing that's very rare to find these days, apparently. But yeah, I can't believe I'm saying this. Y'all know I live in Southern California. Beach culture, weed culture, like that is the unfortunate iconography of what people think when they think of California in general, specifically Southern California, because we got a lot of beach cities in this part of the state. I'm over this for the Rascals. I truly am. I'm like, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I also think I'm too old for them. I love these wrestlers hands down as wrestlers, but the characters that are on my screen is getting kind of stale. And I need them to, whatever they need to do, drink some water, get the munchies, like satiate that. I need them to pull it together because I hate this direction for them. And it's not even like, oh, it's so bad. It's good, funny. It's just bad. All right. We're going to talk about these boys a little bit later. And I have my own issues when we get to that particular match. But first, all right. We got to move on, though. Yeah. Because otherwise, I have an aneurysm. We'll just continue to talk about this scene. Get off my screen.
Speaking of throwing phones.
Good
something occurred to me watching this match. For a match that's supposed to be between two guys, one of whom is more renowned for his skills on the mic and the other is more renowned for his ability in the ring, they sure are giving a lot of mic time to the guy who's supposed to be better in the ring.
Yeah.
This was a hot mess because we originally were supposed to get Joe Hendry versus Eric Young, but then that didn't happen because Eric Young gets off the mic. I'm like, shut up. Just shut up. Yes, I quoted the song, Fight Me.
No, that is a valid use of that song. Fully endorse it.
I'm just like, Eric Young, stop talking. Nobody asked you to get the microphone, my dude. I am still angry and upset and annoyed with your character and the direction this character is going for. But we don't even get the match that was originally scheduled because then all of a sudden we have Judah Zick be jumping Joe Hendry. We get a 3.5 minute squash match, and that is all. And that is the tail of the tape in terms of the in-ring. So I'm like, why are you wasting my time? To quote, politician Maxine Waters, I am here to reclaim my time after this match.
And speaking of the in-ring stuff, and this is going to segue nicely to the stuff that happened just immediately after the match. Way to fucking bury the Northern Armory.
That was so bad. Like, Eric Young aside, Sinner and Saint, I was just like, boys, y'all deserve better. This was like, a travesty.
Yeah, it not like Travis, what's his name? Because
Judas Icarus and Travis Williams, yeah.
Yeah, so because it ended up being Joe Hendry versus Travis Williams. And like, number one, he gets buried by Joe Hendry. And then the two of them get buried by their own teammate. Like,
Oh, you mean like this? Hold up. There we
yeah,
go.
like, and why is it that so many of the heels in your company are the ones that are so obsessed with bringing the TNA title back to TNA? Why are the heels that are obsessed with this? Because Trick Williams, heel. Eric Young wants to bring the title back. Heel. Mike Santana, like, yeah, he's feuding with Trick Williams, but for him, it's more about like an honor thing. Joe is just giving off Joe Hendry vibes. Leon Slater's working on the X Division stuff. I still don't know like what the deal is with fucking Macklin.
Oh, I'm trying
Like,
to remember if I included
Moose-
a picture of his promo.
Moose isn't even like Moose is literally the face of the franchise and doesn't seem to give a shit. Like, why? Like, so this tells me that your bad guys are the ones that are trying to sort of like rebuild your brand, and your baby faces don't care. Like, this is entirely backwards. This is fundamentally backwards.
Are you trying to tell me that the bad guys are trying to make TNA great again?
No, see, well, see, that's just the problem. Is that the bad guys are trying to keep TNA independent.
That's so wild. But
They are trying that, like, they are this is creating this atmosphere of the baby faces. Yes, let's ally ourselves with WWE so that we can get those titles. But it's like no, let's keep them. It's like, it's guys, like, it's. I know nothing has been official yet. There has been no pen set to paper in terms of making TNA, like putting TNA under TKO. But you guys are screaming it. Anyone like that, like anyone, like, and
nice.
I know there's been like there's been so much discourse lately about how, media literacy is dead. Like, excuse me.
oh my goodness.
I'm getting all worked up over here. Like, it's just like, why, like, what, it just doesn't make sense. Like, you are, what's the term? There was a term that was going around, particularly, and yeah, I'm like, someone made there was a term shortly after Trump took office of someone saying like compliance in advance or preemptive compliance. The idea of preemptive compliance basically said, like, he's already threatened to do these things. So people are saying, like, all right, we might as well start doing these things when no law has been put into effect, when no, like, official thing has started. And everyone's like, oh, we got to start doing this. No, we don't. Not until pen is put to paper and there is going to be ramifications to us not doing or doing the thing that you have set up against. Right? That's exactly what TNA is doing. It's preemptive compliance with WWE superiority. And yes, I will wear this tinfoil on my head because it looks good. Okay? Give a shit.
Like, it matches my eyes.
Okay, and and that's and the thing is with art, like, art is subjective. You can get whatever you want out of art. Like, great example just happened. Like, I have this thing, like, JT read that as the villains trying, like, as an allegory for MAGA, like, trying to make TNA great again. Like, and once again, and that's a valid reading. I'm not like that is, I can see that happening too. I can see that interpretation as well. But, like, as an outsider looking in with a halfway decent grasp on media literacy, I think I could be way off base. But once again, it's subjective. It's opinion. It's taking what you see and applying it to what else you know in the world. Like, it's a common expression in literary criticism is like, why are the curtains blue? And a lot of people say, like, I don't know, the curtains are just blue. No, the curtains are never just blue. There's a reason blue was used here. There's a reason that the writer decided, I'm going to make those curtains blue. Why? What does that mean? What does it stand for? That's not always intended by the author either. Like, I'm sure if I brought all these points up to whoever is writing TNA right now, they'd call me crazy. But it doesn't have to be intentional. A lot of the stuff comes out. Like, when you try to express yourself, a lot of your subconscious comes out as well. So when you're presenting stuff like this, when you present the villains as being for an independent TNA and the good guys don't seem to give a shit, what did that say to the audience at home? Whether consciously or subconsciously, whether textually or subtextually, it presents no faith in your own product.
No, legit. Like, I can see it in so many words. It is that actually sums it up really, really good. Where we may be seeing it one way,
right?
But TNA's like, no, trust me, I've got this all under control. And you're like, okay, yeah, all right.
But you don't though, and you've been to use a couple of my phrases here because TNA, I have been ride or die with you for the last 4 years, and who knows, I might still be there in the future depending on how things shake up. But you gotta know, you gotta stop playing in my face like this. Again, as a wrestling fan, there's a certain kind of masochism that we have as wrestling fans because we are so passionate and we love this art form that sometimes we go bonkers for some really questionable things that happen on our TV screens, whether it be the weekly shows or the pay-per-view. But the one thing in 2025 that I am so over, and it's not just a TNA thing, it happens in other promotions, whether it's here stateside or in the international brands sometimes too. I need you to stop playing in my face and stop treating me like I'm stupid. I was like, I see what we're doing here. Don't try to pull the wool over my eyes. I'm not dumb, TNA. This is bad, and I'm tired of you trying to push this. I said, no. This is gonna be a good idea. This was bad. Eric Young's character is bad. I feel bad for Sinner and Saint because we need more good tag teams in this division, but you just bury these boys for what? For Eric Young to fight be by himself again? I'm like, what the?
To borrow a phrase from one of the greatest animated physicians of all time, your product is bad and you should feel bad.
I love that.
I mean, on the good side, though, we might get a resurgence for Sinner and Saint again.
God, I hope so.
They pretty much, very sheepishly gave Eric the finger and got bombed for it.
I would be happier with them. Let me think. Where could they go? Because I'll be honest, I fell off with AEW, not because I dislike AEW, but just because I haven't had the time to, keep up with the shows and stuff. With the exception, I did see, what was the Death Before Dishonor, the last ROH.
Yeah, that was the most recent one.
It was fucking baller. After so many weeks of watching TNA and watching Death Before Dishonor, I'm like, oh, this is what I needed. This is the good shit.
Plug, check out my Death Before Dishonor review on our YouTube channel.
But you know what would be great? Actually, leave TNA and have them show up in AEW as a new faction with Karrion Kross.
That would be amazing. And I mean, both of these boys already have a good stint in the independents as it is. Shit.
Yeah.
They are Defy Wrestling's tag team champs. And then Mr. Judas Icarus here is also the Prestige Wrestling champion too. So I'm just like, alrighty then. So I would love it. Also, I would not be upset if they popped into GCW, be like, hey. Anyways, but This was not fun. And we still got a whole show to go through.
Oh my God.
So let's keep as painful as it is, we do need to keep moving. So this was tough to.
I skipped right. Yep.
Bye, guys.
Yep.
Oh
yeah,
my.
I pretty much skipped right over it. I started listening to him and I was like, can we maybe not? Like, you're wasting valuable time here. And I don't think I've hit yeah, exactly. That's pretty much how I sounded too. In those I'm pretty for certain that Mikey just ended up finding a way to record my voice while I was watching this, because that's kind of sort of how I felt.
Nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah.
Skip
through this so quick.
This was, and I'm afraid that, and I know what makes this worse is I know TNA is probably going to pull this stunt again. I don't want to talk about it if that's just okay with y'all. I really don't. This was bad.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Okay, so,
all right.
Speaking of which,
so let me give the setup. So apparently we got a fatal 4-way to determine who would go to Victory Road to face Leon Slater for the X Division Championship. And I was like, okay, bet. You literally 3 out of the 4 of these participants are all in the same faction. And literally cut and paste, like they are doing this hand gesture and everything too. I'm like, what the flip is this? And then poor Jake is out here as like the random odd man out. I was like, Jake.
Although I do appreciate that the way this particular image is set up, it's Trey and Zach doing the hand thing, but Myron's is just kind of off the camera thing. So it almost looks like he's patting Jake on the shoulder going I'm sorry for this.
So this is a fatal 4-way #1 contendership match. Winner goes on to Victory Road to face Leon Slater for the X Division Championship. On paper, I was like, why do we have all 3 members of the Rascals in this match? But I was like, okay, it should be fun. And there were some bright spots in this, but I also felt like because we had 3 of the same people, and then Jake, I was just like, I'm gonna be so for real. I'm like, Jake, I love you, but
This match, this is like going to this is. Do you guys know what the French Laundry is?
I don't believe I'm familiar with that term.
French Laundry is the first restaurant in America to receive a Michelin star. It is Thomas Keller, legend in the culinary world, like generally seen as like one of the pioneers. He was the chef at the French Laundry when it earned that Michelin star. So he's the first American-born chef to earn a Michelin star.
Right.
This match right here, this build, just looking at the card right here and knowing what we know about these wrestlers, this is a French Laundry match. Because if you look at it, you have 4 men in the ring, every man for himself. 3 of those men are on a team together. Keep in mind, of those 3 men have not had it has not been a cohesive few months for them. One of them has been out on injury, and another one has been brought back from TNA, NXT, if I'm not mistaken, was basically brought back from NXT as the pinch hitter. So because he used to be part of the team, but then left to go do a solo thing and then came back, right?
That I believe you're thinking of Wesley. Myron Reed Myron Reed is the indie darling of the group, but yes.
Gotcha. Okay. So, but like once again, brought in as a pinch hitter, right? The drama there writes itself. Because each of those guys, every single one of them, has that built in. Zach, I've been here the whole time. I've been working through this the whole time. I deserve the shot. Myron, I'm the indie darling. I can do the same thing all these guys have been doing. I deserve the shot. Trey, wait, you're the new guy. You don't deserve the shot. And hey, and Zachary, Zach, yeah, you've been here the whole time, but I'm not just going to let you take it. And then Jake, like the drama in there writes itself. So this is this card, this match as the build up here, French Laundry. Unfortunately, the match we got was peanut butter and fucking jelly.
With Jake, something reminding me of the Red Guardian, played by David Harbour. Totally, even in this shot, in this face shot that he's got, he looks like an American,
He looks like a Russian caricature of an American.
Yeah, he even acted like it on stage it's like, I mean, my God, Zangief, calm down. Jesus Christ.
Jake did not get that role for the Street Fighter movie.
Oh, but now we know that he could.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother conversation. That cast for that movie is wild, but we'll talk afterwards. I was like, holy crap. But again, you are absolutely right. But again, I'm just like, to be perfectly honest, I don't even think we needed a fatal 4-way. Like, just have it later go through all 3 of them individually.
There was one spot in here that I had to laugh at, and that was the dives to the outside. It's Jake standing here and then just takes one dive after another and doesn't sell a single one of them.
I'm like, darn it, Jake, come on now.
And that's one thing. But then their bright idea is, why don't we all dive at him? Guys, just a little math here. Okay, just gonna provide some mathematics for you. 3 dudes. Him, 1 dude who is not considerably larger than any of you dudes. One of you's gonna eat shit.
One of them did.
It's like I understand like the inversion of it, because you're doing like the sort of the inverted thing that they do in AEW of like, and I know they do it in more than just AEW, but AEW is the one that gets shit for it all the time, of having like the 3 people outside and then the one guy in the ring going like, oh, I'm going to do the dive, hits the ropes and jump off. It's the opposite of that. Oh, we're going to have all 3 guys hit the ropes and jump off. Like, it doesn't work. Like, none of this works how you think. That's not how any of this works.
And I'm mad at the cameraman too, because in the finishing sequence too, they did not because we have Zach pulling Trey out, right? And Jake is in the ring. Cameraman did not pan far enough, because in the background, I see Myron Reed just waiting for the cue. I was like, damn it, cameraman, you're not supposed to do that. But Myron Reed hits his finisher, and Myron Reed is your winner, and he is going to Victory Road to face Leon Slater for the X Division Championship. Again, on paper, should be a really fun match. But even still, I was just like, it's going to be fun. But we know that there's no credible threat for Leon losing here either.
We got 2 weeks for Myron Reed to turn heel and make this interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was that match. This is our second match made for Victory Road. We got to move on, because there are some other egregious things we got to talk about too.
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah,
I mean, I loved it too, but I was like, damn, you really picked this one. Now I was like, give me everything, this all the time. What are we doing, TNA?
Yeah, like if you're gonna do this, commit to the bit.
Just be a soap opera. Then I'd find you far more fascinating right now.
You know how awesome that would be if it was like a telenovela or like some like
Listen,
something.
as the melanated person in this channel, I can tell you anything you make a telenovela is always going to get me in because I'm always here for my twin brother. Like
JT, did you ever watch Lucha Underground?
I did not.
oh my god, please do. It's so good.
I don't know where you can find it these days. I recall I watched the first 2 seasons when it was on Netflix. It's not on Netflix anymore because they did separate it into seasons. It wasn't just like like every week kind of thing. They broke it up into seasons, and all of the backstage stuff was fully produced like this: multi-camera, soundtrack, lighting, everything like that. And it was great.
Great.
And the other cool thing about it is that it's probably the first taste that a lot of American wrestling fans got to watch people that would go on to become bigger names like Ricochet and Penta and Rey Fenix and Chelsea Green and Killer Cross, and just
it was a crazy time as a wrestling fan, but it was so good.
So,
All to say, I agree with you, Radio. I want all my backstage segments in TNA to be this level of produced and this level of telenovela because I will be here for it.
So the other, everyone talks about the Chelsea and Penta match. In my opinion, and once again, keep in mind, I am an AEW fan. I am an old school ECW fan.
Dare you? I'm just kidding.
I am a sicko through and through. Okay.
Or the sickos.
Yes. In my opinion, if you're going to look up one match, because I know you can find this match in its entirety on YouTube, Penta versus Vampiro.
Oh my god, that match was wild.
That's one of my favorite death matches I've ever seen.
That match was wild.
Yeah, it was so good. Keep in mind, Vampiro was the ring announcer. It was commentary.
It was
He is one of my favorite, because of Lucha Underground, he is one of my favorite wrestling commentators ever.
We'd love that for it. I think
I'm gonna say I just looked it up, and so when you type in Penta versus Vampiro, the top right after you get past the verses, the very first one is Penta versus Chelsea. Then there was a second one, and then the third one is Penta versus Vampiro.
I highly recommend you watch that after this because it is worth it. It was a wild time.
Yeah.
But again, I like this produced multi-camera shot thing. I was like, just do this all the time, TNA.
Yeah.
Like, turn this into a telenovela. Like, I would be here for it. It would be fun. It would be crazy. But Franklin over here is trying to inspire Jake to, not just be big, barbarian boy, I guess, if you want to call it that. I'm gonna be so for real. I want Jake to be the strong boy, but I want him to be the nerdy strong boy. I'm like, bro, you have a whole Goku tattoo covered up on your leg.
He has a what?
Okay, so if you look at his leg, he's always wearing like this wide like brace on the upper part of one of his thighs, right? People are like, oh, it's because muscle regulation, all that good stuff. I'm not a physician, I'm not a kinesiologist or whatnot. No. So he wears that thing because this man has a whole entire like portrait of Goku from Dragon Ball Z tattooed on his thigh. And for TNA, he covers it up to avoid copyright, but he lets that bitch fly on the Independence and everything. It is so good. Because
oh my God.
I'm going to say one thing. Japanese animation studios do not play about copyright.
Yeah.
Well, you say that, but hey, Shane Helms let his Green Lantern tattoo rock for his entire career.
That is very true. But that is why. So now I taught my co-host something that the thing that brace he wears on his leg, it's not for muscles or for the in-ring. It's so he don't get copyrighted for TNA with that Dragon Ball Z tattoo.
If we're talking about companies that are not afraid to litigate over their logos showing up, CM Punk has a Pepsi tattoo.
That is also very true.
Come on, bro.
Let that Goku tattoo fly.
Let this man go Super Saiyan.
For real.
We appreciate you, Red Guardian.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, so we got to move on though, because we still got a lot of show, unfortunately, to talk about. So we got to keep moving. Hang on, let me play this sound real quick because this is exactly. Yep. This was me for this match and the following match. It was just like, why? I'm a speed run this because literally it was like less than 7 minutes total combined for these both matches.
Yeah.
Shenanigans happen. Heather by Elegance beats Jessie McKay. Santino comes out and it's just like, how dare you do the shenanigans? So let's do another match. Cassie beats M by Elegance. And yeah, so that was this whole segment, and I'm just like, way to utilize your knockouts, TNA. I so appreciative. Not wait, it gets better though, because the backstage segment, this was a whole train wreck of like a 3-act structure that did not work out well. Because
I applaud you for your screen capping abilities for the expression on the concierge's face alone.
Exactly. I was going to point that out too. It's like George Iceman, the concierge. This is exactly my face after the last like 10 minutes of those 2 matches plus his backstage segments. I was just like, yeah, that's exactly how I feel. So first things first, because Santino made this all kinds of convoluted. So I had to make sure that I had my notes in order. And Santino, I love you to death. But like, this was the most confusing shit on the planet that I had to make sure I had my ducks in a row. But I was able to figure it out. So this is how it's gonna go down.
Mikey doing the Charlie Day work over here.
Exactly. Somebody has to. So first and foremost, we're getting this for the 3rd time within the last couple of months. So it is the Elegance Brass versus the Inspiration. At this point, I was just like, watch me pick the Elegance brand, and then they finally give the titles to the Inspiration at the Victory Road. I'll be like, what am I doing with my life? I was just like,
can I make my prediction on this one right now?
Go for it.
Don't care.
Does TNA know that they have more knockout teams?
I mean, we have Liang Li and Zaya Brookside. I know we just had Fatal Influence, but I mean, we did have a tag team of Lash and Jakara before they decided to let Jakara go from NXT. And I'm not that we have lots of other women's tag team in this relationship, but you know that WWE is going to be stingy. And also, I would feel so bad for like the Elegance brand if, say, you send over a Zaruka to face these girls. I was just like, oh, Soul and Zarya would imp slap these girls into submission. But again, you have other knockouts tag teams, TNA. Why are we doing these again? I was just like, again, watch me pick the Elegance brand, and then this is where they lose. I'm like, gosh dang it. I love the Inspiration, but they have not been good in the second run in TNA, and I'm just like, I don't know what we're doing. So that was the first part. But then what made me more confused is that Indy, I had to double check because the way Santino said it, was like, so Indy is going to be the guest referee at Bound for... Wait, Santino, that don't make no sense. Double checked. Indy will be guest referee for Victory Road between Masha and Ash. And I was just like, and there it is. This is where we're getting our triple threat because shit's going to go down. I hated this whole entire segment with the 2 matches and then this announcement being made. Hated it.
Yeah, I hit the skip button quite a lot on this one too.
Yeah, like honestly, the first half of the match, I was like, wait, did I miss something? Oh, that's it? Okay, fine. Like, well, it was a lazy match, but at least it was short. And then they were like, no, we're gonna have another match. I'm like, oh, you're not gonna save this one for next week? You're not gonna pre-tape this one and save it for next week? Okay, cool. Might as well just knock it out now.
Oh, and then it gets better too because the Inspiration will be in 6 knockout tag team action next week. I'm like,
wait, oh my god, they do have other tag teams?
That's crazy. Because it's going to be the Inspiration, and I'm trying to remember who they're teaming up with. But yeah, it's going to be a 3-on-3 knockout, 6 knockout tag team match. I'm like, okay, this hurt me so much. I don't want to talk about it no more. Because literally, I felt like I lost brain cells in that whole entire segment. Moving on.
You're like, and we're done.
Okay. Wait, no. The words in action have never meant less.
Loosely.
It's one of those things like this is where I'm going to bring up my other bigger point. I've heard a lot of people in the online wrestling community use the phrase to describe, usually they're using it to describe AEW because the guys at AEW tend to go a little bit more athletic. They put more into their performance. It's basically the wrestling equivalent of calling a promotion try hard, okay? Which I can't stand personally. Not just because I'm an AEW fan, but also because this shit is hard. You should put effort into it. You should try to create as memorable and it's a continued symptom of the anti-cringe culture of like people trying to make something. It's like, yes, you have to try to make something. It's like nothing just falls out fully formed. You have to put time, effort, and practice into your craft in order to make it decent. That said, I don't dislike the term as an insult. This shit was because anytime I've ever seen an indie promotion like do like a long like social media campaign of like saying like, we've got this big indie name in action. This guy's going to be in action. Oh, that's interesting. Who are they going to be up against? Fuck if we know. Probably a local jobber that we're going to feed to them.
And I'm gonna be so for real. I would have been fine with that. And I was
Yeah.
just like, I would have been fine with that. I was like, okay, we're ready to go. Mike's gonna face this local talent. He gonna get a win in this column, and then we go. But guess what happened, you guys? Guess what happened?
The words in action on any wrestling card will tell you this match doesn't matter.
No, and we didn't even get the match because this happened. I was just like, why even the poor? You know who I feel really bad for, and I know he probably still got paid, but I feel bad for our indie talent. I was just like, he didn't even get a match. Like him and Mike Santana didn't actually get the fight. So, like
they never existed.
It was like, ugh, it was crazy. I was just
they absolutely because okay, there was no one in the ring. There wasn't even like the pan like while Mike Santana's coming in, the pan to the ring saying like, and his opponent, McJobby,
creator wrestler number 3.
Yes. Like they didn't even get that. So it was absolutely an instance of they didn't have an opponent for Mike Santana and wanted to put his name on the card to get people to watch.
It's ridiculous. So these two brawl, security comes out and pulls them apart. To Bound for Glory, I was just like, we're in for the long haul. It's gonna be crazy. So before we get into my last card, there were some pictures I did not include because I was just like, I don't care enough, but I do want to talk about them really quickly. Matt Cardona has beef with Ryan Nemeth apparently now. So I was just like, that's probably going to spiral into something. Listen, as a child of, a former military personnel, like I know the ins and outs, especially as being a child of military ins and outs. But my God, Steve Macklin, Mr. Deonna Purrazzo, I love you to death. You and your square jaw, right? But that whole promo, I was just like, I'm still not digging it. And I've had this problem with Macklin. Okay. So I still have PTSD, so to speak, from when Macklin was in NXT and he was part of the Forgotten Sons. And that gimmick was all types of, it was so bad. I was just like, somebody in the writer's room over in NXT watched, Sons of Anarchy, and it was just like, bet we can do that. And it was so bad. And what made it worse is that, and this whole group got released, somebody was an extreme racist, and it was not Macklin. Otherwise, I would not be talking about him in any capacity.
Wait. So Macklin was part of a gimmick in NXT that was a Sons of Anarchy ripoff. And so they ship him over to TNA that very famously 15 years ago was in the middle of the Aces and Eights thing.
Pretty much. Now, here's the thing, though. Macklin has only been in TNA for 4 years now, so he's still relatively new. But yeah, the Forgotten Sons was a horrible faction. Their gimmick was really, really bad. And then, of course, when you have a faction like that made of like all white guys that borders on the lines of like, oh God, this is going to be really bad. Come to find out that one of the members was actually kind of a skinhead. So, but man, I was just like, no, that dude deserves to be fired. But I also feel really bad for the other members in the group because I was like, they didn't do anything and they all got fired. So Macklin was on the indies for a little bit and now he's in TNA. But Macklin, I love you to death. And I know that you are a vet and we appreciate you for that. However, I need you to stop trying to push this into your character. We are borderline almost like making me not want to root for you anymore, dude. I was like, stop it. I love you, but stop it.
So, and here's the thing with soldier gimmicks is that it like historically there have been several. Obviously, there was obviously the most famous of them being Sergeant Slaughter. And Sergeant Slaughter had the advantage in that regard of being popular during, the 80s, like 70s into the 80s, right? Back when, it's somewhat, I will say fairly more innocent times. Right. But even then, when he was doing the soldier thing, he wasn't doing the all-American thing. That was firmly the domain of Hogan. Hogan was the all-American. And when it wasn't Hogan, it was Luger. And Hogan's stock ran out pretty quickly, mid-90s. Luger was a complete false start. No hate on him. No hate on him. Wrestling's a hard industry, hard business. And it's sometimes creative just feeds you something shit. But since then, the whole all-American soldier kind of thing, think about who's had it. It's been Kurt Angle, Jake Hager, or Jack Swagger, as he was called at the time.
Don't remind me of him.
They've all been and even Kurt Angle had 2 modes. dorky all-American or chicken shit heel. I mean, yeah, he had some other ones where he was trying to be like, yes, I'm a hardcore competitor kind of thing, which, once again, as an Olympic gold medalist, he certainly was, and on enough painkillers that he could ignore the damage he was doing to himself. But it's, hell, even the Shield, when the Shield came in and they were baby faces, they were coming in as freelance, like, we're just going to beat the shit out of you because we can, and we're here in tactical gear.
Right.
So, like, I don't, and it's, I'm not sure if he keeps talking about it, but I don't know if he's trying to make it what he's trying to do with it. If he's trying to reclaim it to be a babyface gimmick, or if, like, especially calling himself a jarhead. Like, I was under the impression that jarhead was not a nice thing to call a Marine, you know, like, or excuse me, I was under the impression that it's the kind of thing that only Marines are allowed to call Marines jarheads.
I could tell you for the most part that is highly accurate. Again, being a child of a Marine, yeah.
Sure. So it's one of those things, by encouraging that title and encouraging the crowd, therefore, to refer to him as that, it's just like, what are you trying to do? Like, it's a baffling puzzle of what should be a pretty straightforward gimmick.
And the crazy thing is like, Macklin, I see what you're trying to do. You know, you're the front line for TNA, which I was like, you know what? That's taking the soldier gimmick out of it, like being the man to be like the gatekeeper, if you will, like the front door, the front lineman of TNA. Like, that could be a really cool idea. There's only one problem, Macklin. And I don't want to devalue any championship in any company because they're there for a reason. But I'm like, you're not fighting for the TNA World Championship. You are international champion, which is cool. And I love that you are the inaugural one. But at the same time, though, I was just like, you are the gatekeeper for what? But I was just like, Macklin, I love you, but we gotta do something here, my dude.
If you want to frame Macklin as the front, as basically, you must be this tall to get on the TNA ride, you know, then what he needs to do, and it's an old gimmick, but honestly, when you're doing this kind of a character, it is a tried and true gimmick, and it works for this kind of thing. An open challenge.
That's what we need. And I was like, as the international champion, even if you're bringing independent people on from the indies, or, you know, other
people from the indies, local talent, even if it's just like a couple of like local jobbers, like, and just squash them a couple of times when you do this open challenge. And then when you say like, all right, open challenge, here we go, who am I going to go up against? And that's when Mance Warner comes back. Or that's when one of the bigger names in like JCW comes in and just like, hey guys, the clowns are here.
Well, I mean, that would be amazing. Well, here's the thing though, because TNA kind of has that somewhat open door, because I mean, Matt Cardona is here, and I mean, he's a big, you know, GCW person, which also has, you know, GCW showcases the WWE ID tournaments and whatnot as well. So I'm like, start pulling folks from the independent scene. Now, I'm just saying, because now she's there, I was just like, Miss Shotzi, if you want to come over to TNA for a little bit, I'm not going to be upset.
Who's that guy on the indies that I really dug? Because he's a huge dude who is surprisingly agile. No, it's not Bear Bronson. No, because he's Stackhouse. Sam Stackhouse, that's what it is. Because he's using like, it's not his real name, but he's using the ring name of like an old like territory era wrestler whose whole gimmick was just that he's
big boy. Yeah, but I know, I understand, and I agree with you. Listen, Sam Stackhouse, he is a very thick boy, but do not let that size fool you, because that man will throw himself across the ropes like a speed of a freight train. It is glorious to watch, and I can see that next Saturday when him and KJ Orso go at it in a steel cage match at GCW Homecoming LA. So we'll talk afterwards, though. But those are just the two things that I didn't get pictures for that we got to talk about, and honestly, those were more interesting to talk about, but unfortunately we do got to talk about this main event though. I'm just like,
but do we though? Yeah, about the greatest thing out of this entire matchup was the fact, well, one, that it ended, but two, that like there was something to at least break up the match after it was done.
I just real quick, because I was looking it up, because there was one name that I wanted to impress upon both you and the folks at home, and TNA if you're listening. I know they're not, but it can help. One name from the indies that you if they were to do the open challenge, that I want everyone to do, and I want you guys to check this out.
Yes.
If you haven't heard of Mr. James, he is wonderful.
It's so good.
Whole gimmick is substitute teacher.
It is so good. There are like 3 wrestlers on the independent scene that I love. That he's one of them. The other one I really love is CPA. He is funny as all hell. If you have not, also when he goes to Effie's Big Gay Brunch, he goes by CP Gay. His whole gimmick is he wears these long flannel shirts, and he will like he wrestles in these long sleeve flannel shirts, and then when he's getting ready to do a big move, he starts to unbutton it, and everyone's getting crazy, like, oh, he's about to take it off, and then underneath is just another flannel shirt. It's so good. And then
Speaking of indie wrestlers that went viral for a minute there, so I know Cocaine is still in JCW, but whatever happened to Blue Cane and Gain?
Right. Yeah. You know what? That's a good question. I don't know what happened to them. But the other indie wrestler I do want to talk about too, just because I love me some weirdos, is our lovable weirdo, Mr. Randy Myers, out here looking like Beetlejuice, kissing everybody out in this ring with consent, of course, is so much fun. Check out Defy. But again, I love my weirdos, but all I gotta say is Ryan Nemeth made me very uncomfortable this whole entire match because I did not like when he was looking into the camera, and I was just like,
He's right here, officer. This one.
I need
like,
adult to your adult.
Exactly. I was like, I need an adult right now. The system tried, but unfortunately they got deleted. The Nemeths do end up winning. The Hardys come out because they want revenge. This sets up the tag team title match for next Thursday's episode, not even pay-per-view. I was just like, is it because Jeff can't go to Canada? Is that what it is? Because that, I kid you not, because remember, Under Siege was in Canada, and guess who wasn't there? And Leon Slater had to step in for Jeff Hardy for that tag team championship match. Jeff Hardy is not allowed in Canada. So I'm just like, all right, Nemeths win, Hardys come out. System is just looking like a hot mess right now. That is how TNA goes off the air, unless anybody has anything else to add about this match.
No, that's you summed it up. It was a hot mess.
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't get to this match.
You know what? You didn't miss much. I'm glad you did.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things of like,
I was mad that
I only had an hour, but definitely watched shit while I was on the clock. But it's it's like Nemeth versus the System. I was like, nah, fuck it.
You didn't miss anything.
I'm still agreeing with both of you. This should have opened, and Moose and AJ should have closed.
See, now that would have been good.
That would have been better.
That would have like definitely tied this entire thing together. Like, because then you'd be like, okay, so what's going on with this whole thing with this Moose and
yeah. I mean, that's the end of this review. There were a total of 5 matches. 3 of them were glorified squash matches and didn't make no damn sense. The main event went way too long, in my opinion, for a payoff that I don't really care about. And again, by default, my favorite match is probably Moose and AJ. But even then, why do I got to go to social media to see this feud to be set up between Moose and Ali for Victory Road? And you don't even show it on my TV screen, or my computer screen, because I was watching it via the app on my smart computer. But I digress. TNA is really struggling as we get to Victory Road, but I'm still going to be here every Friday with my host because we love to dunk on this promotion, but we really do want to see good things for this promotion. Damn it. We got to take the salt in the wounds. And I was just like, okay, we got this. We're almost to the end of the year. I'm just like, let's just get to Bound for Glory and then call it a day, please. But that's going to be it for us here at Takedown Droop. We do have some other things happening for the remainder of this upcoming weekend. So we're going to preview that really quickly before we get up on out of here. So I will be here to be doing a live watch along for MLWs of Fightland, where we are getting lots of fun Lucha Libre CMLL folks popping in over here. And Matt Riddle versus Dijak is the thing that is also happening too. So go figure. But there's a lot of matches on that card I'm actually looking forward to. So it should be fun. And then on Sunday, we wrap things up with our WWE review. And we got lots to talk about, especially after a certain press conference that happened today. And I was just like, we're going to discuss this, but it made our plans so much easier to watch nothing but independent wrestling that weekend. Anyways,
what you should do, and you didn't ask for the advice, but especially since JT has never seen it, is you should do a retro review of Lucha Underground.
Yeah. You know what? I got a couple of breaks coming up this time. We need content during the holidays, so why not? And you know, the schedule is aligned. Radio, I might call you, be like, hey, so we should just virtually kidnap JT and make him watch this.
Yes.
It would be so good. Well, speaking of virtually kidnapping people, but shouldn't phrase it that way.
Watching the first episode is bonkers because it is the perfect amalgamation of people that are going to go on to be huge and people from the past that used to be huge. No one from the current time. It's like
It was a timeline that was so
God.
weird, but it was so good.
The first match, the introductory. No, excuse me. No, because the first episode, the opening match is Chavo Guerrero versus Blue Demon Jr.
It's so crazy.
The main event of that episode is Johnny Mundo, aka Johnny TV, aka John Morrison, versus Prince Puma, aka Ricochet.
So crazy. It was a wild time for like wrestling fans. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, you bring up other things. So, as a programming note for us here at TNA, there will be no TNA review next Friday because we're done watching this. No, I'm just kidding. No. So,
Oh, so close.
Yeah. Well,
I was so close to be free.
I mean, hey, you know what? Y'all can leave anytime you want. Somebody's got to review it. So I was just like,
Mikey's over here like, you guys can leave whenever you want. I, however, am doomed.
No, there will be no TNA review next week, but not because we're done and tired of watching in TNA. We're not there. For me, I'm not there quite yet. But next Friday, we will be, instead of doing a TNA review, myself, Papa Oso, and Adolfo, which are the CMLL crew, we are instead doing a watch along for CMLL's 92nd show. So that is the big CMLL show that they have every single year. And we are getting lots of great matches. We are getting a retirement matches for 2 Lucha Libre legends. We are getting MJF versus Mystico, Mask versus Title. So that should be a lot of fun as well. We are getting a blood feud type of match where it's Mask versus Hair, which is going to be really, really great. And then we're also going to get the finals of the Copa Independent tournament. So it's a tag team tournament where you want to win as a tag team. And then the finals are where you face your tag team partner for the win. So that's a lot of fun. And we're getting a women's tag team action as well for the CMLL Tag Team Championship. So it's going to be great. I'm also excited because tonight or tomorrow when I watch CMLL's episode that is airing right now, Brodito is defending their titles in Mexico. So it is going to be glorious to watch, and I cannot wait. So we will be doing that instead of our normal TNA review next Friday. But then the following, the Go Home show, and doing predictions for Victory Road. Yes, Victory Road is in 2 weeks. And then we are literally 2 weeks after that from Bound for Glory. So we're in the home stretch, kids, for the fall. So like we're almost to Bound for Glory. And then we can get through the rest of the year. And then hopefully TNA will get their shit together come January. But who knows? But that's going to be it for us here at Takedown Troop. I'm going to get us out of here because one of us is like midnight. So that's not great for him. So we're going to get him out here as quickly as possible. But thank you so much for tuning into our shenanigans every Friday, especially on this episode, because we had a lot to say. And, you know, from all of us here at Takedown Troop and the rest of the BC WrestlePod family, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay Bi-Conic, and more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. We will catch you tomorrow during our MLW Fightland watch-along, but until then, adios, and until next.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another Vibe Tribe production. What's gonna happen next time? Well, you're gonna have to tune in to find out. But until then, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, make sure that you keep the good times rolling. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.